Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. You're watching The Political Vigilante. I'm here with my longtime friend, Eric Oldenberg, who was also on the retired honorably from the Phoenix Police Department for 24 years. He was a child crimes investigator. He's done some great work. He's shown a lot of insight for me and this channel about the Epstein and Maxwell cases, and which we very much appreciate. But also, I started getting into crypto, but specifically Bitcoin, a little over 2 years ago. And I talk a lot about on this show of why it's important. I don't like the central banks. I mean, this show is always about showing how the political system is broken. Both parties are corrupt and all of that. So, but when I started, you know, Eric, you watch the show on occasion and you watch my Twitter feed on occasion, and you reached out to me and said, dude, I got a great Bitcoin story. And you basically, I'll let you tell it, but you got into Bitcoin like pre-2017, like when it was, and you cashed out and paid off your house. Anyway, tell everybody your Bitcoin story and give us the timeline, because you got in really, really in the early days.
Yeah, I sure did. So back in 2010, I was a computer forensic examiner. So I was a detective, but I was assigned to go through. I basically worked in a lab environment. Any evidence that came in digitally, I was on the team that we would find the evidence and so on and so forth. Well, in my spare time, I was kind of a tech guy. It's so funny because since I retired and it moves so fast. But anyway, so there's a website called /dot. I think it was /dot.org. Any of the viewers might know and correct me. But it was /dot, and they had this white paper on this really cool new technology called Bitcoin. And so I read the white paper and I heard about blockchain and decentralized, and I thought, you know what, this sounds pretty interesting. I'll throw $500 at it. And so I think it was January of 2011. Okay, so back then you couldn't just buy Bitcoin, you had to mine it. And I didn't have a computer powerful enough, or, you know, there were thoughts of like, hey, we can turn this computer lab into this great big mining rig. But of course we didn't do that. So
that would have been great, by the way, if the Phoenix Police Department,
richest department in the world. Go ahead and defund us. We got billions in Bitcoin.
We've got
defund us all you want.
We've got 100,000 full Bitcoins that we got it for 6 cents a pop. Good luck.
Yep, exactly. But so anyway, so I'm like, I'll throw $500 at it. How the hell do I get these things? So there was one website back then called Mt. Gox, MTGOX.com, and it stands for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange. So apparently it had to do with Magic the Gathering, which is a card game of some sort. And there was I don't know what it was, but all I know is that you could buy Bitcoin off this website. But the problem is I had to get money to this website. And the only way I could do it, and I am not even joking or hyperbolizing this, the only way I could get money to them was through an intermediary in Nigeria. Okay. So like, seriously. So I'm just like, I am this is going to be great, but I'm probably flushing $500 right down the toilet to some Nigerian prince who needs to get his daughter out of jail or whatever. So, but oddly enough, the transaction went through and I was able to buy Bitcoins for $15 a Bitcoin.
Oh God.
And I got, I think I got 30, I think I had 32 of them is what I had initially. And I remember I had joined a website called bitcoin.org. It was a forum to talk about Bitcoin. So I was like, yeah, what the hell? I'll get into this. And there was a podcast all the way back then. There was a podcast about Bitcoin. I remember one day, the following week, I'm driving and I'm listening to the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, Bitcoin's down to $8 a coin now. And I'm just like, I fucking flushed all this money down the toilet. What was a stupid decision. I'm so stupid. And we were house poor. I had just purchased a house, put a big bunch of money down, bought furniture. I was completely house poor. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll just stick with it. What the hell? So I work in a lab environment with a bunch of other people, a bunch of other computer people, and I'm telling them about this stuff. And they're laughing at me. They're like, are you buying Mario Brothers coins, Eric? Do you need to talk to somebody? Like, Like, what are you going to be selling me Amway? Like, what are you getting yourself into here?
Did you just win the Nigerian lottery,
Yeah,
Eric? And you think you're a
When does the
millionaire?
prince get released, Eric? I mean, like what? So they're all giving me shit, and then Bitcoin is slowly going. And I worked in this lab from it was 2008 up until 2015. But while I worked there the whole time, the Bitcoin's going up, and it got up to about. I remember when my daughter was 7. A little funny side story. Bitcoin was worth probably about $400 a coin. And I remember saying to my colleagues, I said, when my daughter's 16, I'm going to buy her a car for the value of 1 Bitcoin, thinking, it might get up to a couple $1,000s. When my daughter turned 16, Bitcoin was $64,000 a coin. So she loves her Maserati. I mean, it is the no, but I was like, honey, daddy lied to you. I'm sorry. You're not getting a 65. Anyway, backing that up. So it's going up. Bitcoin's going up and up and up and up and up. And then it got to $1,200 a coin. And I don't remember what the time frame was. But then Mt. Gox, the website, got hacked. And all the Bitcoins that were up on the exchange got hacked. Well, when I bought my Bitcoins, I knew immediately, put those in a private wallet. I'm putting those so I have control of them. So I didn't lose anything during that. But of course, it goes up to 1,200, gets hacked, and then the market completely crashes. They crash all the way down to $200 a coin. And I'm like, and everybody was like, you stupid fuck, you dumbass, look at you, ha ha. And of course, cops, love them or hate them, they like to give each other shit. So they're just constantly like, you dipshit, you flushed all that down the toilet, blah, blah, blah. Just like, fuck. And I'm like, you know what? My plan has been all along, I'm not selling any of this until it's fuck you money. Like that was when it's fuck you money, I'm going to sell it. So I hold on, and it's doing this crazy stuff. Well, during all that, I read about this other cryptocurrency called XRP or Ripple. So have you heard of Ripple? Have you heard of that crypto? Yes. So they were giving away. So the difference between Bitcoin and XRP is they basically pre-mine all their 100 billion XRP that's ever going to exist. There's no mining. It's just all these exist now. So they were worthless. They were like fractions, I paid 3/100ths of a penny for these things. So I started to convert some of my Bitcoin into XRP, but they were giving these things away so much just because I was on that forum, bitcoin.org, before a certain date, they gave me 50,000 XRP. So, well, they were worthless. They were 3/100ths of a penny each. So I had a couple, I'm like, whatever. But I'm like, you know what? I said, this is a pretty good hedge because think about it, right? Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies, they're this decentralized, platform where there's no one entity that is in control of the money, which is anti-banking.
Right.
It's against the banks. Well, Ripple's whole thing was, we're building this network in order to move money as quickly as possible using this XRP token. So it was like they were the anti-cryptocurrency. They were the ones, and a lot of people were like, fuck them, they're working with the banks. And my response to that is, the banks aren't going anywhere. Like they're so powerful. I don't believe banks are going to disappear because we came. So I'm like, you know what? I'll hedge my bet. So I started accumulating these things at fractions of a penny. I had 450,000 XRP at one point. And mind you, they're worth now a penny an XRP or whatever, right? So I remember, fast forward a couple of years, and my partner and I are carpooling into work. And Melissa, I wouldn't say I stumbled into a lot of money. I read that white paper and was very intrigued and thought there was a future in it. And I was very educated. No, anyway, yeah, I basically fell into, no. So, I'm driving with my partner, and for whatever reason, I don't know, I still kind of followed the cryptocurrency. I bought a couple Ether too along the way for, I think they were like $30 each. And I'm like, yeah, I'll buy a couple hundred of these things, whatever. So, and then I start seeing that XRP is up, and when it hit 10 cents, Graham, I lost my mind. I was like, these are fucking 10 cents. I can't believe. So this is like, I want to say this is 2016-ish, late 2016. And then the crypto thing just started going up and up and up and up, slowly up and up and up. And I will tell you, in December 2017 is when it was like January 2018 when everything dropped. December of 2017, I bought $500 in XRP, and I spent maybe another $500 in, $500 in Bitcoin, maybe another 500 in XRP. So a total of $1,000. It is December of 2017. I'm looking at my little tracker, and I have $1.8 million in cryptocurrency is what my balance was based on my $1,000 investment. So I have to make a decision. Is that fuck you money, or is this going to continue and be whatever? So of course, now realize I could have put $1 million cash in the bank. I could have paid my taxes. I could have, and paid my house off, and just, that's it, float off into the sunset. Did I do that? Fuck no. I rode that sucker all the way back down. Woo! And along the way, I panicked and sold enough because I was like, this whole thing might crash. I was like, this could all go away. So I pulled out enough to pay off my house, and paid my house off in 2018, which was amazing. And I still have several Bitcoin. I have a bunch of XRP. So I still have a pretty decent portfolio, and I'm always trying to look for kind of things to, coins and systems that look like they have a future. But I stick to the main ones, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I have some like Bitcoin Cash, because there were some splits and things where I got free coins, but I stick with XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum as the big three. And people always, when they hear the story, they're like, Eric, listen, man, what should I get? What's your advice on cryptocurrency? And my advice is, build yourself a time machine and go back to 2010 when I did, and buy $500 worth of Bitcoin or whatever. But yeah, so I am just, it's the craziest thing ever. It's like a lottery ticket. But what's nuts now, Graham, is you see how the market is just up and down. And recently my portfolio had gotten close to $1 million again. When Bitcoins were 65,000 each, right, and I had a bunch of Ethereum and all that stuff, it was getting close, and I'm like, I'm going to have to make a decision again. I'm going to have to make a decision soon. But I didn't have to, because it crashed again. And now we are where we are. So I'm just holding on for dear life. My goal now at this point is I have enough so I can give 1 Bitcoin to each of my children and grandchildren whenever the time comes. That's the idea, whatever they're worth. But yeah, I've been, as Melissa said, I've been extremely lucky.
Dude, I first of all, I think that's great that you paid off your house with the $1,000 investment.
Yeah, like, exactly. Right. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
I mean, that right there, you won. You've won.
Yep. And everybody tells me that. Agreed that I won, but remember, I know that I had $1.8 million at one point, and I didn't,
Well,
so
here's the thing, having like studied a lot of crypto, but especially Bitcoin. And I've interviewed like people like Max Kaiser. I've had like financial experts on the show. Bitcoin specifically is going to be the world's reserve currency. And there's a chance Bitcoin's going to go to 500,000, $1 million a coin in the next 10 years. And then you're going to go, yep, you did it right. You cashed out just enough to pay out your house, and then hung on. Because at this point, because you've already won by paying off your house, there's no, just sit on it until it becomes an amount of money that you're like, okay, like you said, give each one of your kids.
Yep.
And
I look every single day. I used to have private wallets and keys and hard cold storage and all that stuff, and it just got too much for me. So I moved everything to Coinbase, which seems to be a very stable whatever. And
just be worried that they could seize it from you. That's my only.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But guess what? They're not going to seize my house, bitches. I already paid it off, son. So, the thing is that every day I check my balance every single day.
Yeah.
Like I wake up in the morning and it's one of the first things I look at is, and I don't have any plans on doing anything with, because I watched this. I mean, my portfolio recently got up to just under $900,000. And then when it crashed, it was under $200,000. And of course I'm like, and then you tell yourself you can time the market and all this other stuff. But I'm with you. I believe there is a future to this. I believed it in 2010. I believe it today. Just seeing what had happened recently during COVID and the whole thing kind of crashing and the stock market and the recession. And people are still, I thought everybody was out of crypto. They're like, fuck this. We need money to live. I was surprised.
You've been in it long enough to see it like go up, and then it hit 20,000 in 2017, then crashed. Yep. And then, you know, it was at 10, 12,000 or whatever, you know, in March of 2020, when COVID hit, it drops to like $4,000.
Yep.
And then a year later, it's at 60 some $1,000 or whatever. And you're like,
insane. Yeah.
So you're seeing this,
I do believe there's a lot of market manipulation going on by the people that have large wallets. And I just wish I could time it correctly, because they're pumping it up and then they're selling and then they're waiting for it to crash and then they're buying back in. So I think the whales are manipulating the whole thing, but it doesn't matter because they're trying to make money, and in making money, it's causing I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. It would be much nicer if it was somewhat regulated, but that takes away the whole point of decentralization, because who do you put in charge of it? You can't put anybody in charge of it.
Yeah.
So, but because of that, there's the negative of but it's been an amazing ride. And it's a funny story that I can tell people all the time, that, you know, I paid my house off with $500 worth of Bitcoin. So, which is crazy. Graham, think about it. It's just like this money appeared out of like, wait, what?
No, it's a winning lottery ticket, dude. You bought 500, you know, it's a winning, it's a crazy thing, you know? So, and
what's crazy is when I withdrew the money out of the account, the IRS, there was no Bitcoin questions. There was no crypto. They did not have cryptocurrency under control. But I paid my capital gains taxes on every Bitcoin that I sold. And if you guys out there are you know, doing this, pay your taxes, because I did not want, the last thing I wanted to have happen to me was, you know what, the IRS isn't really paying attention. And then in 2028, get a fucking letter from the IRS saying, hey man, remember back in 26, and then I got interest and everything else. So pay your taxes. They are on top of it now. And if they're not on top of it now, they're going to figure it out, and then they're going to come back after you later. So.
It's trackable now. That's the other thing too, because it's blockchain and it's open source. Every transaction is trackable. So they'll be able to see where you cashed out. So I told my accountant, I was like, this is all the money I made from crypto. Let's pay taxes on it. Let's declare it. I get 1099.
It's a matter of time. Yeah. It's a matter of time before they have it all, so that it's just basically they got tentacles right into wherever the exchanges are, and they know. Just like the stock market, there's a form that gets submitted and all that other stuff. Yeah. So I'm in a fun spot right now where I can throw a little bit of money at it. My thing now is that anytime I buy anything crypto, I buy $500 worth, because $500, I can't buy any other amount because that was the lucky amount, if you will.
That's your lucky amount.
$500.
Well, dude, that's a great story. I'm glad you told it to us. And also you've been in crypto long enough to see back the fact that I'm sure you're seeing all these exchanges and mass adoption. You're seeing how it's becoming mainstream, and we're still in the early stages. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, we're still in the infancy stages of this for sure.
And it's only going to go higher. So, well, Eric, I really appreciate you taking time today to talk to us about all this wide range of subjects. And it was really great to see you, man. And, hopefully I'll be in Arizona soon doing a show and we can hang out.
It was great to see you too, Graham. We don't talk enough. And I miss you. You're a very good friend. And, you know, Graham says we've known each other for a long time. We went to college together basically, and, had just an amazing time. Graham started doing stand-up comedy in college. We would ride our bicycles down to the Laughs Comedy Club, and we had fake IDs to get in there. So, I've known you for a very long time, and I've had the greatest respect for you. And I know you and I have very different political opinions on things, but I just love the fact that you and I can have a conversation. Too many people in this world now. Fuck that guy. He's this. Fuck that person. They're that. I don't like that. We should be crossing boundaries and be able to talk about difficult subjects. So I appreciate the fact that you do that, and your audience. You know, you have like a diverse audience that is about discourse. Because I think the number one problem in this country is we've created a system where discourse isn't welcome. Like, you got demonetized off of YouTube. It's fucking stupid.
I know.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. We should be able, if we want to have a truly a functioning democracy, we have to be able to have a reasonable debate with each other and listen. Like, all of the things you said today about being a cop, I was like, I got to hear, I got to listen. I got to, these are, I got to listen to this. Even if I push back on it, it's like, because we both came into it going, I'm willing to hear what the other guy has to say. We didn't come at it like, I'm going to win this argument and I'm going to crush this guy. We came into it like, I want to hear what you have to say, you know? And that's what we need more of in this country, is the ability to, it is. Like, we've had disagreements. We had crazy yelling arguments when we were in our 20s. We were jackasses when we were in college. So we've still maintained a friendship. And like you say, I appreciate that. And I respect the work that you've done. And we have known each other literally since we were 18, riding our bikes to open mics and using fake IDs to get in there. And,
it's true.
You know,
and then you're like, I'm going to use my funny for the world. And I said, I'm going to use my funny for the police department.
No, but man, you know, you are an example. It's again why I like talking to you, because you are an example of what of good police, of why we do need police in this world. And it needs, you know, to have a reasonable discussion and debate about how there are clear problems right now, and to how to discuss them and come up with some solutions. I just want things. I'm open to solutions, and that's what you are too. So I appreciate that. Anyway, man, say hi to your wife and everybody. It was great to see you, dude. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Cheers. Thanks everybody for listening and putting up with a cop for a couple of hours.
A Bitcoin cop.
Bitcoin cop. Yeah, that's it. All right, brother.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Take care.